Welcome to Sports Talk with Steve Jones, the daily talk show with the voice of Penn State football and men's basketball. You never know what special guest may stop on by any given day. Now here's the man of the hour, Mr. Steve Jones.
Well, great to be with you. Be another day where simple words will be needed.
That's right. That's right.
Just. So tell us, before we get going here, tell me more about State High and Forest Hills.
Well, Pittsburgh Central Catholic, it's going to be probably, to me, their toughest test. PCC is really started out 0-2, played an out-of-state team, lost one game in-state, but then obviously have won 10 straight, and they're on a streak really where games have not been close. So I think that's going to be the concern for me. State College obviously playing their best football to me all season, which is obviously great when you're getting into the playoffs. But I think for the Little Lions, the concern for me, through no fault of their own obviously, is they were in that close game with McDevitt. Other than that, they've not really been in a close game for probably 6-7 weeks. And I have a feeling this has the potential to be one of those close games. How do they respond? From State College perspective, I think that's my biggest worry. And obviously, every year is different. But State College, when they take on the WPIAL, there's always that aura about it. They've only beat them twice. So in how many years now? So that's the concern. But it's going to be a strong test. Pittsburgh Central Catholic is a very, very good football team.
Yeah, no kidding. A lot of them come here.
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah.
A lot
Damar
of them
Hamlin
come here.
also went there.
Yeah. Should be quite the game. They're going to let you in?
They are going to let me in, as far as I know. Yes, they confirmed that last night.
Why?
They did move. For those listening, if you have not heard, they have moved the venue. It is not going to be at Forest Hills anymore. It is going to be at Mansion Park in Altoona due to the pending snow that is coming into the Johnstown area. So they have moved the venue to Mansion Park tomorrow night. Still, tomorrow night is the game.
And what time's the kickoff?
7 o'clock. But yeah, that's. I thought it was going to be a challenge either way. Either team, State College would face Pittsburgh Central Catholic really right from the get-go, dominated North Allegheny last week. I think Jair Walls is a solid quarterback. I think he's going to be the guy that is going to be a test for this team. A couple good wideouts on this Pittsburgh Central Catholic team, and obviously it's WPIAL football. They're going to run the football. That's going to be a test. I do like that
They're going to let you in?
they are letting me in. That's the rumor. That's the word on the street. The former coach and athletic director, Mr. Riccio, has not confirmed he's letting me in just yet. But as far as I know, that's the rumor. We've paid the check, so we got to pay to let me in. But that's all right. Got to pay a pretty penny to let me in.
Obviously, money talks. Yikes.
Got to pay a pretty penny with a check to broadcast the game. But it should be obviously an interesting game, and I do like what they're doing now. Bob Lombardi from the PIAA confirmed that what they're doing now is you're going to have that first round, you're going to have the host, as it was last week where Williamsport hosted. And from there on out, it is going to be a true neutral site now, where it's going to be a halfway point between the two teams. You're not going to have these neutral sites that are, Pittsburgh Central Catholic and State College, where the neutral site is Woodland Hills, or the neutral site is, Bellefonte. It's literally going to be a true halfway point, which I think is long overdue.
How about that? No, that's not what I want. Wrong. You're killing us. You're killing us. Perfect. There we go. What do you think? 6:30 tomorrow night? Good. Standard seating.
I'll almost be on the air tomorrow night, 6:30. Almost.
No, I'll be eating dinner.
I will almost be on the air.
This will be 7:30 Eastern time, so it's a little late, but still.
Yep, the hour difference.
You have a 10-minute grace period. 10-minute grace period. What are you talking about? Okay, let's see what I got. So, what the hey? The playoff. I know they started the season earlier a few years ago in August, so they could get the playoff over sooner. There we go. Do I want any dining offers? No, of course not.
That's where they get you.
No, they're not getting me. Okay. Yeah. So go to Minneapolis in March. I think we're going to stay downtown at the other Marriott. So
there you go.
Perfect. There we are. Confirm reservation. Your table's been confirmed. Very nice. Okay, so we took care of that. That's good. We're going to show up a little earlier anyway, so see if they can get us in earlier. What? Look, it sounds like a scam, all right? And it probably is. Okay. So, all right, so because I remember the one year State High played in the state championship game when Kenny played on the team.
Yeah, 09, yep.
And it snowed.
Yep.
And it was like right before Christmas.
Yep. Moved the game up. Yeah, that was, absolutely. Yeah, going to week 0, I think was a mass. Week 0 is now week 1. I don't call it week 0 anymore because of the fact that everybody plays. That was a great move by the PIAA. I know they have made some questionable moves over the years. That was a great move, getting it away from that Saturday before Christmas.
Yeah. Okay. Gina Oriema last night set the women's basketball record for most wins. You're talking about 11 national titles, 23 Final Fours, 6 undefeated seasons. He had win streaks in his career of 98, 111. They talk about the impact he has had on players, which is a long list and remarkable. And you're talking about somebody, and Gino with 1,217 wins, went past Tara Vanderveer. He grew up with nothing. He grew up with nothing. You're talking about somebody who grew up in Italy, and they were poor. Then eventually family moved to the Philadelphia area, and he had to work his way up in the business. And he really is, he's been so dominant in what he's done that I don't think people understand what his life was like, because all we've seen is the last 40 years of it. And boy, I remember in the early days that he wanted to play Penn State, and Rini wouldn't play him.
I remember this. Yeah.
And
the condition was basically, we're going to have 2 here, you're going to have 1 there.
Right, or something like that. Yeah.
Yep.
And I remember when they came here for the NCAA tournament, and what I did when they came here, I set up a tour for him of Beaver Stadium, and Joe D'Ambrosio was here too. And Joe D I've kept in some contact with over the years. And we were just standing in what is now the south gym of the arena. That's where, and we just in a like a circle group. We must have talked for half an hour. And look, because you're just trying to tap into and listen to a great mind. Mm-hmm. I know a couple weeks ago when Jack and I were talking with Nick Saban, I tried to just sit there and stand there and listen. Ask a few questions here and there. Absolutely. Just to kind of tap into his mind a little bit. And what's been incredible about Gino is that Chris Daly has been there the entire time. And everybody has tried to get Chris Daly to be their head coach. And it's like, no. She stayed. She stayed. And that tells you a lot.
Absolutely.
About, about him, his organization, the whole thing. And again, he grew up with nothing.
Yeah.
I mean, nothing.
Yep.
His family went from southern Italy to Norristown when he was 7 years old. Right? Grew up poor. His parents working low-wage factory jobs.
Yeah.
Look, he comes to the United States. He had to teach himself English. He spoke Italian. He did not speak English. So you're a little kid trying to learn how to do all this. Okay? Yeah, my mother, okay, even though she was born here in the United States, Cambridge, all right, Massachusetts, outside of Boston, where Harvard is. But her parents came over from the Azores, my grandparents. Okay? My grandfather came through Fall River in Massachusetts. My grandmother came through Ellis Island when they were little. But they grew up in Portuguese neighborhoods. So so they'd go to Mass on Sunday. It was in Portuguese. They'd go to the Portuguese grocery store. That's where they lived. Here. My mother did not learn to speak English until she was 4 years old when they moved to the suburbs of Lexington. So she had to learn to do it. He had to do it when he was 7 because he came over with his family from Italy. So he had to teach himself to speak English. He gets himself through he gets through high school. He goes to Westchester, graduates there in 97. He's an assistant coach at St. Joe's. Okay? He started working with girls basketball at Bishop McDevitt. And then he went to Bishop Kendrick. Mm-hmm. He finally took an assistant coaching position at Virginia in 81. And he took over as the head coach, right? He becomes before he becomes the head coach at UConn, he became Gino was not a citizen until 40. He took the test. He became a naturalized citizen. A great accomplishment. Right?
Yeah, he
goes to UConn, but when he was 40, what he did was he took his team on a tour of Italy, and that's when he decided I should become a citizen of the U.S. All right? And by the way, his favorite team growing up as a kid, guess which team?
Well, he grew up in Pennsylvania, so it couldn't have been the Sixers.
Nope, it's not.
Celtics?
Nope, the New York Knicks. Red Holtzman.
Yeah, yep. Makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep, I actually had the chance to talk to him same time you did, almost identical time, when we had the chance to take in their practice. First of all, was that time when they were at the tournament. And number one, just from a coaching standpoint, I never saw, aside from Joe, obviously, I never saw somebody more prepared for any moment like I saw Gino Auriemma that night. I think there was no question that game was 2 days away. That team could have played that minute right there. No doubt about it. They were ready. They were absolutely a completely well-oiled machine. And that was one thing where I looked at and just knew how great of a coach he was. But the other part of it, just talking to him for the 5 to 6 minutes we had the chance to talk to him, there's no doubt he never forgot where he came from.
No.
One of the best people that you will ever talk to, you'll ever meet, and absolutely, just very very happy. Just on the outside looking in to what he's been able to accomplish at UConn, he deserves it. Just an absolutely spectacular coach and an even better person.
What's interesting is that like Jim Calhoun was there. Jim won 3 national titles. Yeah. And Calhoun used to call the women's team's fan base the world's largest nursing home. And in 2001, now remember, at this point, Jim's won a national title. He won in 99 down in St. Petersburg in the Dome. Well, it's not a dome today at this hour.
Thank goodness they get to at least play in Tampa. My goodness.
Well, they got a problem.
Yeah.
I mean, they got problems keeping that team there. I don't know if they're going to be in Tampa.
I don't think as a whole.
No, they've got a new issue with the bond issues for the new ballpark.
For Steinbrenner Field now too.
No, they'll play there this year.
They're going to play. Yeah,
I'm saying they were supposed to have a new place built.
Yeah,
in 28.
Yeah, they are not. Yeah,
might not happen.
No.
So they asked in 2001. Now this is 2 years after Jim won a national title. He said, Jim has a problem with anyone else's success, not just ours. Do we get along? No, but we don't have to. Wonderful.
Jim McElhoon was.
Oh, I've talked to Jim.
He was
because Jim was doing a lot of analyst work on BTN and Fox, so I got a chance to talk to Jim a lot.
He would always challenge you too. He'd tell you a story and he'd know if you repeated it. That was what Jim Calhoun was a master at. He would tell you a story, and whether it was accurate or not, it doesn't matter. He was waiting for you to repeat it because he knew if he heard the story again that he couldn't talk to you again. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was he was an absolute.
I know. That's why. That's why he talked to me a lot because I was like,
same. I never repeated anything he said. He only talked to me twice, but never obviously repeated it. But yeah, he would challenge you with that. That was one thing I definitely noticed with Jim Calhoun.
Yeah. But congratulations to Gino. I think that's just a tremendous accomplishment to get that. And if you want, you get some great Italian dishes at Cafe Ora in Manchester. Okay, there you go. So there you go. In fact, I can get you a table there if you want.
There you go.
Yeah. How about now? But you know what? You cannot accomplish numerically what he's accomplished.
No.
Okay, unless you've had excellence over decades. Mm-hmm. And he's had excellence over decades. Yeah. So Penn State basketball last night.
Yeah.
In some ways it sort of played out the way I thought it would. At the quarterback club yesterday, they asked me about the game, and I said, look, they've got three guys who can really score. I said, they get comfortable. I said, they'll score points. I said, they'll really push Penn State. I said, but if Penn State can make them uncomfortable at some point and run them out of gas the way UCF did, I said, Penn State will win by 10 to 15. 102 to 89. You're going along and you're falling a little bit further behind, a little bit further behind, a little bit further behind, and then you're down 11 with a minute to go in the first half. You need to do something. And they had a 5-point close to make it 6 at the break. So they went from 47 to 36 to 47-41 at halftime. Then you got a couple of steals open the second half. Now they're rolling. They went on this long run, 15 unanswered points. They're up 51-47. That really started them down the path to winning the game. Look, the couple things. Number one, Ace Baldwin was terrific last night. 25 points, 11 assists, 7 rebounds. Somebody said, hey, he came close to a triple-double. Actually, Ace has never had a triple-double in his career because his career high in rebounding is 9. Now, he may have had a triple-double include double-digit steals, but not the traditional points, rebounds, assists. And Nick Kern turned in another terrific performance. He's such an outstanding defender with his quickness, his length, his tenacity. Makes such a big difference as to what's happening out there. Zach Hicks shot the lights out, especially in the second half. I thought Freddie DeLeon did some really good things in that game. Yannick, start to finish, as did Kachi. They all did some good things in that game last night. And it's the third time in 5 games they've scored 100. So I want to talk about the crowd for a moment. Let's start with this. Dick and I both tried to tell everybody, because we know it, that this was Game 5, and of the 5 teams they played, this was the best opponent. Now, again, brand names mean something to the basketball crowd here. It could be a lousy Auburn team, even though we know Auburn's really good. Yep. But say Auburn has a lousy team. Auburn comes in, hey, let's go see Auburn. And this team's better than that. You know what I mean? Mike had to get up and yell at everybody last night to get into the game. And he said, he says, the talk and what we used to say about the BJC and how quiet it is, I'm challenging all of you, right? The old Penn Staters, the middle-aged Penn Staters like me, and all the young ones, all the students, every one of you. See, the student attendance was not good last night. Get out of your seat, get on your feet, and sweat with us. We don't need popcorn at this game. We need your butts out of your seats. We will fight for you guys. I want you to be sweating with everybody. We should never have the BJC quiet. I don't care how big the BJC is. We're not going to make any excuses around here, but I need you all. He says, so if you come to the game, he says, get some extra Gatorade, get some water, sweat with us, get into the game. And as for the older people like me, it's a great day for exercise. In your seat, out of your seat, in your seat, out of your seat. Stand up, all right? He says, it's great for us. For all you young people, get crazy with it. Bring your friends. He says, you're not going to get in trouble for being an idiot for 40 minutes. I have to give you credit. You perfected that.
40 minutes is, that's the low end for me.
I'm kidding. I got your back. I want to build this program with all you guys, and I want it to be a fun night in State College every time we play. Does everybody get it? Thanks so much. Appreciate it. Dick and I were both not disappointed maybe, but we were like, they're off to a good start. They had a big win on Friday night against Virginia Tech. There's a brand name team. Now, this team is better than Virginia Tech.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay? But if it were the other way around, and Penn State played Purdue Fort Wayne on Friday night and played Virginia Tech last night, I think there would have been 9,000 people there because of the name.
Yeah, I agree.
But the name Purdue Fort Wayne didn't register with some people. I also know it was kind of like an up and down weather night. I got that part. But it's also a Wednesday night at 7 o'clock. Middle of the week, you're not going to draw as much. Weekend, you'll draw more. That's why I make such a heavy emphasis all the time on talking about how many Saturday
games. Yep.
Saturday afternoon Big Ten games does Penn State have? Why? Oh, I don't know. I've been sitting in that chair for 43 seasons. Okay? I know what the draws are. The part that struck us last night was the students were there for the first 3 home games. They were there. I mean, it was good. I mean, it didn't overlap into the end zone, but they were all across from us. Not last night. Right? Last night they had students were there, but not in mass. I was like, it's a little. I mean, this team, only one other team in Penn State history has racked up 100 points 3 times. Okay? And that was the 54-55 team.
Yeah.
Well, guess what?
Yeah.
Okay? They've done it in 5 games.
5 games.
So, hey, you know what? All they can do is play. So next they have Fordham.
Yeah.
Fordham will be in Daytona on Monday at 4. We're on at 3:30. Fordham has to play Drexel tomorrow night at Rose Hill. And then and this is, by the way, the 100th year of Rose Hill. They will play there. They're 3-2. So right now, Penn State in the Ken Pom rankings is 35th. If you're wondering about Fordham, they're 167. The other two teams out there will be Clemson and San Francisco. San Francisco is 52, and Clemson is right now 44 in the Ken Pom rankings, which Dick and I use more often than we would use a ranking, although Penn State did get votes last week in the AP poll. So we'll see. But that's Monday at 4. If they were to win, they would play at 4 o'clock on Tuesday. Now, if you want, I mean, I can bring back some souvenirs.
I actually had relatives that graduated from Fordham, believe it or not.
I don't mean Fordham souvenirs. I mean
No,
souvenirs from Florida. You want me to bring back some saltwater taffy?
No.
Like want me to go to Cape Canaveral, bring you back a little space shuttle? Want me to go over to Buc-ee's?
People swear by that place.
You want me to go to Buc-ee's and bring you back some stuff?
People swear by Buc-ee's like they swear by WOWY. I can tell you that. And in Eastern Pennsylvania, they swear by. It was there before the other two. That's a big reason why, I think. But yeah, there's people swear by Buc-ee's in the South. There is no doubt.
And I can do this for you. Yeah. We're back a Sunshine State mug if you want.
There you go.
What? I'm just trying to keep you in the loop, keep you happy. Right? Because our job is to keep you happy. Because we all know that, in a fit of rage, very concerning. All right, games this weekend. We all know that good. Cedar and Stone Urban Table for 6. Yeah, I'm sure. Penn State, Minnesota is a big game. Everybody here knows it. Everybody knows that Minnesota is a tough opponent. Everybody knows it. Brosmer, Taylor, Major, Jackson, Gears, Spencer, Brockington. Pretty big offensive line. Defense, Joyner, Lindenberg, and Parrish. And they got a guy at each level. Good players. All right. Other games this weekend. Army, Notre Dame. Army is undefeated.
Yeah.
Army has the most bizarre stat that you're ever going to find. Army is 134th and dead last in passing.
They're undefeated.
Oh, no, I'm not done yet. Army is number 1 in the nation in yards per pass attempt.
Wow.
Do you do any research?
I can admit
do you do any research?
I can fully admit to you I am behind on the research of Army football.
Okay, they're undefeated. How could you
I know that much.
Unbelievable.
First time since 1945, Army and Navy was undefeated until Notre Dame ended one service academy's undefeated season. Let's see.
Bizarre.
They could do.
Oh, by the way, one other note on Fordham. Abdul Timbila, is on that team who played here at Penn State. He comes in off the bench as their center. He leads them in rebounding. But, okay, so you got that game. Okay, we all know Indiana, Ohio State.
Sure.
Now, Ohio State has suffered a big blow.
That's massive. Yeah.
For them to lose their center Okay? The transfer Seth McLaughlin out of Alabama.
Yeah.
Because remember, they took the backup center and they made him the left guard so they could move Jackson out the left tackle. They're going to have to move him back.
Mm-hmm.
And that means probably Montgomery. And what game did he get hurt? Simmons. Was it the Oregon game?
The Oregon game or right before the Oregon game? Yeah, it was one of those two.
No, he played. I think he got hurt in the Oregon game.
Yeah.
And then when they had the backup in, he then got hurt against Nebraska. That's when they had to make the move, and they had to bring Montgomery in at left guard. And well, he doesn't fit. But I think he's going to have to play now.
I think so too.
He is going to have to play in the game. Indiana is a very good team. No getting around it. They are very good. And I think that Indiana has the quarterback. Rourke is very good. The running game is not bad. And I think that's something where but they throw the ball well enough. They got the transfers from James Madison. I'll tell you, defensively they play well, but here's the concern. If I'm Indiana, the concern I have is that Ohio State's defense is very good, and they only had 12 total yards against Michigan in the second half.
Yeah,
that's concerning. I mean, that's concerning. And that is an issue. Because they've been generating decent offense, but in the second half of that game, they generated nothing.
Absolutely nothing.
And we all know that the strength of that team to begin with anyway, I'm talking about Michigan, is their defense.
Absolutely.
It's not their offense. Sarrett, the wideout's got 38 catches. Rourke's got 21 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. I mean, they're good, right? Ellison, the running back, has been very good. He's got nearly 700 yards along with 9 touchdowns. Good, solid team. But that 12 yards in the second half, that's like a blueprint for, okay, so tell me what happened here. Because they could generate nothing against them. Nothing.
Yeah.
And that's like a 30-minute blueprint of okay, what did Michigan do? And it's not as if Ohio State defensively is not capable of duplicating some of that.
Yeah, no question.
Especially because the Ohio State defensive front, the defensive front for Michigan is really excellent. Ohio State may be a skosh below that, but they're really good up front. Linebackers are better. They've improved. I think their linebackers are better than Michigan's linebackers.
Yep.
But remember, who didn't play in the game for Michigan? Will Johnson didn't play.
Yeah.
Right? And they still held them to 12 yards.
Yep. Yeah, that's what I'd make the argument. I think Ohio State's secondary, when you take Johnson away, is better than Michigan's. And that's where, obviously, fully healthy, it's Michigan. But, and that's where I think it's going to be a little bit tougher for Rourke, too. So there's no doubt. And this is going to be a challenge for Indiana. I think they have a lot to prove. Obviously, there's people talk about strength of schedules. I know we've heard about it 2 weeks in a row now from a Penn State perspective. But I think from an Indiana perspective, there is no doubt about it. This is a team that has, they've been challenged to an extent, but they've not faced a challenge like this. Not even close.
No.
Yeah.
Their schedule's ranked 102.
Yep.
They haven't.
Yep. Nope.
Okay, they haven't. They've faced some good teams, but they haven't faced a lot of good teams.
No.
For example, okay, Penn State and Oregon can both attest that Wisconsin's a good team.
Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Indiana play them?
Nope.
No. Right. They haven't had that volume. Michigan State is not really great. That was a big win for them. Let's give Indiana credit though. Indiana, let's see. Oh, they didn't do that. I mean, Nebraska has gone downhill.
Yeah, and it's sort of started with that game.
Yeah. Although Nebraska gave Ohio State all they could handle. I mean, that's a game. Nebraska almost won that game. But
Washington's obviously a different team on the road. They beat them.
Well, but have they played? Have they played USC?
Nope.
No. Have they played Penn State? No. They played Michigan. They barely survived, and that's the 12 yards we're talking about. Right. In other words, the best team that they played so far probably is Michigan, and even that was like, ew.
And they've not really been challenged on the road either. That's the other part.
No.
They've obviously dominated UCLA, but UCLA in the beginning of the year is obviously not great right now, but they're not at all what they were in the beginning of the year when Indiana thumped them. And then obviously biggest road win other than that would probably be Northwestern.
And that doesn't do anything.
Does
nothing.
That's what I mean. They have a lot to prove.
Look, can I start with this though? It's not their fault who they played.
No, you got to play what's in front of you.
Now, the non-conference, that's their fault. They wanted to schedule 3 wins. The non-conference is all on them. Okay?
Yep, I agree.
There's no getting around it. It is on them.
Yep.
But what the conference gives you is what the conference gives you.
No doubt.
You can't sit there and go, well, they didn't play this team, that. Well, that's they played 9 conference games, right? They can't help who scheduled them, right? So like the Georgia and people are up in arms about schedules and things like that. Oh, we played at Alabama, we played at Ole Miss, we played at Texas. Okay, well, good. You know what? Guess what? You hardly go on the road anywhere.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, how many wins do you have at Texas A&M in your lifetime? Oh, that's right. You've never been there. They've been in the year, 13 seasons. Haven't been. Right? You've been going up against the same group of teams in the SEC East over and over and over and over and over again, but nobody ever talks about that because it's sacred. It's the SEC. Well, it's not that sacred.
Betcha.
Right? It's not that sacred. Okay? How good's the Florida team you beat?
Florida team you had a lot of trouble with, too.
Offensively, Georgia's defense, by the way, is superior.
Quick.
They
quick to the ball.
So fast, lightning quick.
Sure are.
They've got UMass this week. Offensively, they're 15th out of 16 teams in the SEC in rushing, and Beck's thrown 12 interceptions. But that'll be a topic for a different day. They've got UMass this week. Tennessee has UTEP this week. Last week, Alabama played Mercer. Wofford played South Carolina.
They're playing.
Wofford's playing South Carolina. Yeah. All right. It's not September. Right? Now, Florida State, I think, is going to win this week. They are playing Charleston Southern.
Yep, Charleston Southern. They might get win number 2.
Gabe Gardenia's team.
Ah.
Gabe Gardenia's the head coach at Charleston Southern.
Did not know that.
Oh,
That's a fact I did not know.
What are we doing here? You just clock in and clock out, don't you?
Yeah, usually. But that's
What are you doing? But that is Gabe Gardenia's team, who Gabe, of course, originally was at State High, transferred to Penns Valley, was a long snapper at Alabama, and is now the head coach at Charleston Southern. So, yeah. But that's who they do this all the time down there. And does anybody ever call them out on it? No.
No. Heck no.
No.
No. And it became worse when a certain four-letter network took over the rights to the SEC, and now it's forget about it.
They don't talk about anything on there.
Nope.
You know that?
Nope.
Like, they don't talk about some of the biggest issues in sports. I mean, it's interesting. Like, I feel like we reveal more behind the curtain on this show
than they do.
And they're the All Sports Network.
They have a lot better sources than us.
Right? Jeez.
Yep.
I don't get it.
No.
I mean, I don't get it. And they don't want to tell you. Right? Do you think they've ever told you that Georgia's never played at Texas A&M?
No.
And look, is it a big deal? It's not a big deal, except they've been in the same conference for 13 years. They haven't been in the conference 13 months.
Right.
13 years. Well, they couldn't find a time to play them. I'm talking about the SEC finding time for those two to play each other. They played once at Athens. Okay? But, like, see, my point is not knocking Georgia. Right? They go by what the conference tells them. But it tells you how convoluted the scheduling is in the SEC.
Mm-hmm. Well, even non-conference, you look at how many true road games Alabama played under Saban. It wasn't many. Played here, played Duke, played at Texas. That might have been it.
Yeah.
I don't think, and that's how many, and that's the years he's been. That wasn't one season. That was the years he's been at Alabama.
But again, when they, quote, allow you to get away with it.
Yeah.
Okay. And the four-letter network allows them.
There's no doubt, especially now.
To get away with it.
Rights, there's no question.
Okay? But they've never talked about it.
No. The only time they talk about it is in their favor. Yeah, you look at the playoff rankings every week. You have to hear, if this team played Georgia, they'd be a double-digit underdog. This team play, you know what? Who knows?
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
Things stay on a path. Everybody will find out.
Yeah. Completely.
Pro or con.
Exactly.
Pro or con. That's why you play.
Completely.
You play in the field and go from there. You let it go from there. Penn State needs to win this game this weekend.
Got to win, yeah, absolutely.
Needs to win the game this weekend. This is a big game for Penn State.
Yeah, huge.
Against a very good team.
Absolutely.
Okay. Are they a great team? No, but they're very good.
Good, though.
They're very
Coming
good.
off a bye, they're good, too. Yeah. Flex.
We'll find out what the bye means. I don't know. I've seen mixed results off buys.
Unless your name's Andy Reid. That was.
That's the NFL. It's a little different.
Man, he's in a different animal. But yeah, Fleck's done a good job record-wise, I think, off the bye. But yeah, it should be interesting.
So, we'll see. I don't know. You would think, it should be great for them, but like I've been seeing too many, especially this season, too many mixed results off buys. But we'll see. Maybe it works out great for them. But they are a good team.
Yeah, they are.
Right? Quarterback's good. Running backs are good. Wideouts are good. Tight ends good. Defensive ends good. Linebackers good. Safety is good. They got a lot of good players on this team. He's done a good job with it. And then Notre Dame is going to play Army at night. That's on NBC.
Yeah.
Yankee Stadium. Army is going to have to run the ball, in my opinion, for over 200, preferably 250. How about that? Because that would allow them to control the clock. When they have come close to upsets, such as Oklahoma when they lost in overtime, they ran the ball over for over 200. That's when Oklahoma had Kyler Murray.
Yep. I know that.
When they came close to upsetting Notre Dame one year, they ran for over 200.
Came here in the rain one year and almost pulled the upset.
Yeah. But I'm talking about the last 5. I'm talking about the last 5 years, what I'm talking about. And that's when they've had success because they've been able to run the ball, eat up yards, eat up downs, eat up the clock. Michigan was the other game I was thinking of. Michigan had to beat them in overtime. Remember when they had Zach Charbonnet? Charbonnet had like 102 yards and like 33 carries or some number like that. And same story, okay? Ate up yards, kept the ball, ate up clock, converted. I think in the Michigan game they were 5 of 5 on 4th down, right? And then, and kept Michigan off the field, and then they'd score. They'd finish the job. They have to do the same thing with Notre Dame. I mean, Notre Dame is not a juggernaut out there. They're very good. I think Notre Dame's a very good team, but they are not a dominant team. And, I mean, can Army hang with them? Yeah, I think
so too.
I think they can hang with them.
Yep.
Now, do I think Notre Dame will win? Yes.
I do too. Yep.
But do I think Army can hang with them for a period of time? Yeah, I do. I do think they can. So we'll find out. We will have tomorrow Randy Johnson. Remember, he used to be with the Center Daily Times.
Mm-hmm.
Now writes out in Minneapolis. Yeah. We're also going to have Mike Grimm tomorrow.
All right.
The play-by-play voice of Minnesota football and basketball on the show. Then we have Dick Girardi on Monday, Tim Kirkjian on Tuesday, Missy Matthews from the Steelers Network on Wednesday. Yep. Had a lot of great things to say about you.
Missy Matthews?
Yeah.
That's good. I've only met her one time, so must have made a good impression.
I was lying. What?
Steelers Network has some good people. I like Rob King. I'm a big fan. He's a great guy.
I was just on. Rob has a podcast.
Yep.
And I was on with him for a half hour on his podcast.
Yeah, he's one of the nicer guys.
On Tuesday. Rob is top shelf.
Absolutely.
I told you about the T-shirt, right?
Yes.
It was just because he has an Enfield High T-shirt. He said a buddy of him gave. He said, "Steve, I just worked out in this thing." I'm like, "So well, that's what it's good for." That's what it's good for. Well, good luck with your game tomorrow night.
Should be a good one. Looking forward to it.
State High's played great to this point.
They have.
Credit where credit's due.
Absolutely.
The game is at Mansion Park.
It is. Venue change. Supposed to be at Forest Hills. It is Mansion Park now. Tomorrow night, 7 o'clock, same time.
Yeah.
Shorter trip for Little Lion faithful. Not by much.
No,
but
the bottom line is, okay, you're just saying that's code for it's a shorter trip for you.
I have never been to Forest Hills. I do love going to Mansion Park. I love going there. If they had better parking, they would host the state championship, I think. That's where they run into problems. But no, I would never object to going to Mansion Park. I love going there. Yes, it's a short trip, but I also love the venue. Love going to Mansion Park.
It's all about you.
That's right. No, it's a short trip for the fans. Absolutely, it really is, and that's it's one of the good things.
It's all about you.
It's only, what is it? Forest Hills is what, an hour 15? Not that bad. Sidman's not too far from here.
You complained in the hallway all week.
I don't remember that.
I got it. Going to the green room. Oh, I gotta go to Forest Hills. It's 5 billion miles away. I'm like, and all of them like, okay.
I was thinking in the back of my head Friday night, oh boy, we're gonna make another trip to Pittsburgh, but No, I was ecstatic when I saw the Forest Hills as the location, and now obviously Mansion Park.
It's even better.
It's even better, right? You betcha.
All right, what's your airtime?
6:45.
Oh, so you leave here, 6:15?
No. Parking in Mansion Park, especially when the Whitfield comes to town, is an adventure. Mount Lebanon, I'll never forget when they came their semifinals a couple of years ago when Eli Heidenreich was on that team. That was the team that beat St. Joe's Prep. There are not a lot of teams that have a claim to fame of doing that in the state championship, but that Mount Lebanon team that was coached by Bob Palco, they brought...
Bob and I had a great talk yesterday. Yeah, you didn't come out well.
No? Bob's a great guy, too. Bob and Tyler both. Don't know Luke very well, but I think they brought, everybody not named Kurt Angle from Mount Lebanon that night. They brought the entire town and then some. And I think you were pretty much parking in Hollidaysburg by 11 a.m.
for that game. Complaints over.
I was in the stadium. I was talking about the people that came late. But yeah, so if those of you listening, if you're going to the game,
do you want me to go over into the fridge to some chilled wine and we can get some cheese for you?
Cheese?
What the heck?
If you are going to the game tomorrow, go a little earlier for that reason.
What the heck are you yapping about?
They travel well, and PCC I think will do the same.
God. Every time I turn around, it's just one complaint after the other.
Yeah, Mount Lebanon brought the town. I will never forget that. That was the most I've ever seen the Whitfield bring down to, and it was the Mount Lebanon game, 3 years ago?
Do you want us to get your driver?
Sure.
That's unbelievable.
I always said, I'm the driver, Adam's the dad.
I mean, this is a totally different conversation than the hallway in the green room.
I'm the driver, Adam's the navigator. I've always said that.
They gotta go all the way to Forest Hills.
Oh, no. Forest Hills isn't too bad. I was ecstatic when I saw that. But Mansion Park, we're happier. I've never been to Forest Hills, believe it. I've driven by it. I've never been in the stadium.
I've seen the signs.
Yeah. No.
You're not welcome.
Not welcome? Jeez. I'll tell you.
Hey, have a great